Well, hello, Aleksi. So delighted that you are coming to the Calgary Folk Club October the 4th.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm super, super excited.
I will always remember the day that your mom came up to me. And for those of you who don't know, Alexi's mom is Connie Calder. Alexi, she came up to me and she said, we're at Folk Alliance, and she said, "Will you come and listen to my boys? They're doing a showcase." And I said, "I would love to come and listen to your boys." And then she plunked herself right beside me. And I was like, "Oh, no pressure here at all." Fortunately, you guys, you were amazing, and you have just gone on to do some really cool things in your solo career. And I know that you often perform with a band as well, but just making a name for yourself well beyond the childhood performing with your mom.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. It's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride this year for sure. Yeah.
So this year, yeah, because awards and nominations and accolades, and the For the Giving, your dual album in French and English. I will let you say the French name of it.
Yeah. For the Giving, Sans Rien Donner. Yeah, it's an album that I'm really proud of. I launched it in both languages. So there's 10 songs in English and then the same 10 songs also in French. And yeah, I've had family support from my aunt Michelle Campagne, who helped me translate all the music, and it's been incredible to be able to go across the country and do a bilingual show and promote where I'm coming from, which is a household that grew up with both languages. My mother sang in English, my dad sang in French in a band called Heart Rouge, with his sisters and that whole side of the family. And so it's been really wonderful to be able to share that part of me with this album. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And then Penguin Eggs and Roots Music Canada name you New Discovery of the Year. And it's kind of like, where were you for the last few years? But I guess we were all COVIDing. And so,
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool to get garner that one as well. And just
Mhm.
accolade after accolade. Another really magic moment for me was at the Canadian Folk Music Awards this year in St.
Yes.
John, Newfoundland. And just to set the scene a little bit, there was a pub kind of setting. It's called The Ship. It's a really iconic venue, quite small. I'm going to say maybe there was like 100 people there, maybe 75, something like that. And it was the beginning of the conference. Everybody was yakking to each other, and it was like 1:30 or 1:40 in the morning. And there'd been music on all evening. People had talked through it. You walked on stage, and within like 23 seconds, that place was silent.
Yeah, it was a pretty magical moment.
It was
Yeah. And that was a long day. We'd all seen a lot of music. There was the first night of the awards, which is basically like a 3-hour concert. And I am watching all the performers basically walk the plank, like go on, do this open mic thing for the performers, and everybody's rightfully like talking and drinking, like everyone wants to catch up, everyone wants to chat, everyone wants to connect. And so like all I can do really is go up there and do my looping song, where I sing first of all Connie's song, which is an incredible song. For those of you obviously know how good of a songwriter she is. But yeah, so I've been doing this song for a long time, and it's called Wheels Like a Chevrolet, and it's basically has me looping while I'm singing the song. And it felt great. It felt great to be able to share that and just do something different, because that's, I don't know, that's kind of been my mentality also for a while, is just let's try something different.
Yes, no kidding. Let's try something different. And so, here we are in the folk world. You were accepted into university programs in like three areas of jazz, like jazz violin, jazz vocal, and jazz improvisation, was it?
I started in classical violin, and then I switched to jazz voice and then jazz violin. Yeah. So I did, but every time you switch, you have to pass like a proficiency like test. You have to do an exam. So it's yeah, but I took a while to try and find the right program for me.
Well, I'm going to say it didn't take you a while to find the right program. I think they were all stepping stones to
Mm.
create the like literally show-stopping, like holy for goodness sakes. And so super excited to have you on the stage as a double bill with Over the Moon, who I know that you did a workshop with in Canmore last summer. So they're looking forward to seeing you. And I hope you're feeling the same way.
Yeah, that was great. That was super fun. The workshops are always great at festivals, and yeah, my songs tend to not be very great songs for people to follow along to. I make weird arrangements with weird chords. But I played a song that I got them to accompany with. They had a sax player there with them as well, and he did a great solo on it, and we had a great time. And their music is just so fun. So
Yeah. Yeah, great. Well, we're super looking forward to that. Not only do you improvise all over the place, but you fiddle singing, which is a thing that's not done very often because it's really darn hard. Is it because you just kind of grew up not knowing it was hard because you just started doing it, or like?
yeah, no, it's a combination of many things. I think I studied when I was studying jazz. There was a moment where I really wished that I had picked another instrument. I was like, man, I wish I'd played piano or guitar. That would have been great. And then I'd be able to write songs and sing because I really wanted to sing. And then I realized, well, why don't I just try to make something with the fiddle? Like I'm too far gone now, and starting that journey in school, and then realizing that I actually had a lot of examples of this. I grew up in folk festivals, and there's so many different fiddle singers in like old time music. In Quebec fiddling music, there's always a mix of singing and fiddle playing, and seeing people like April Verch and André Brunet and La Bottine Souriante and all of these bands throughout my childhood going to folk festivals. I realized no, like I can apply those things to like the music that I want to make. And so then it became this journey of trying to pick the things, the musical aspects that I learned in school and that I love, and kind of figuring out how am I going to accompany myself on the fiddle.
Yeah, well, and that whole idea that the fiddle is sitting right against the vocal cords or your voice, so it's like it's a really interesting thing. And one of the things that we're super excited about is that on the day after your show, on the Saturday the 5th, you're going to do a workshop on Saturday morning called Improvisation for Folkies. And I think that what you bring, that taking from all of these different places, which really is the folk tradition, it really will be a really cool thing. What can people expect? I hate to ask you what can people expect, because for me, an Aleksi concert is always, I expect fabulous, and I get blown away anyway.
Yeah.
So what can people expect at the workshop?
So the workshop, it's going to be a bit of a combination because I studied jazz and I studied improvisation, and I grew up in folk music, and I always kind of played along. The jazz world kind of expanded all of that for me. I took lessons with a jazz violinist called Didier Lockwood, and I distinctly remember having a lesson with him at one point, and I was improvising and I was playing, and then he stopped me and he went, no, that what you just did, that note wasn't the right one. You should have ended here, actually. And then he played and he landed on this note, and I went, yeah, okay, that was so much more powerful. And so it really gets you thinking like, okay, improvisation is not just like I'm going to express myself and I'm going to be, there's a craft to it, and there are things that are true, like harmonically, if you're ending on this particular note. So part of it is applying that towards folk music, because in folk music, I think, there's a different vocabulary, there's a different basis that you're working with. You're not working with the same standards in jazz. The harmony sometimes a lot, is more tonal, more simple. So I think I'm starting out by kind of explaining the basics of it. For people who are fully new to it, they can expect, some basics, some things to look at when they go home. And then, have a little bit of trial, have some experimentation, and really learning to have fun with it, because it's a lifelong journey to learn to improvise, and it can be really, really fun. And so, you know, having the basics to be able to start that and learn it yourself is kind of what we're looking at.
Perfect. Well, we're so looking forward to it. And October the 4th, people can either join live at the Calgary Folk Club. If they are somewhere else and they're a fan of yours, and even if they aren't a fan of yours, they will become one. You can pick up the live stream. It's good for 48 hours following the show. And we so look forward to having you there.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Deuce.
Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, my pleasure.